Man, guys, I can't believe that we're at the end of 2025, and man, what a year it has been, honestly. I feel like it's both taken forever to get through it, and like it was just yesterday, if that makes any sense. But again, we made it another year, and what I want to do right now is do a little fleet update, shop update, and talk about our plans for 2026. So let's get right into that. Starting with the OG single cab. If you guys have been following the last couple of videos, we are doing our 4-lane kit on this truck. We've got the front end pretty much all put together. We were gonna start on the rear traction bar setup for this thing, and then this thing will be pretty much done and back on the ground. Sitting right about there, hopefully about an inch higher. We'll see where we end up at. And by the way, that's why we have these chains whenever we're doing these swaps. This way I can have the axle at right height without needing stands, which at this moment we have them, but that was just to get the axle in position where I wanted it for the links. But right now I could take off those stands and the axle will remain at this height. But anyways, other than that, we were gonna keep using this truck for R&D. So once I'm pretty happy with this whole setup, the traction bar setups and all that, I am most likely gonna take this whole setup back off and go with the rear 4-link with air ride. At least that's the plan for right now. If we have enough time, we might actually even dive into the interior of this thing and get it looking nice. But for now, that's pretty much everything with this truck. I mean, obviously this thing's the truck that we've had the longest on the channel. Is what we started the channel with. I'm hoping that I get buried in it. Now let's go talk about the trucks that we have outside. Okay guys, so let's start right here. This is our, I believe it's an 89 F Super Duty Cummins powered dump truck. So yeah, this thing, if you haven't seen the videos, has a 12 valve Cummins 5-speed, super cool truck. And basically the purpose for this truck is to make it easier for us to get rid of our scrap metal that we produce from our fabrication and be able to just go to the scrapyard and dump it out, get our money. We were having a really hard time with getting rid of our scraps. So basically I wanted to buy a dump truck and make that a lot easier. I wasn't looking for a Cummins powered truck, but luckily I found one, and I actually found it for a pretty decent deal. With this thing being a Cummins, it has quite a few leaks that we gotta fix, but nothing crazy. Also, the hydraulic pump for the lift is also leaking, as you can maybe see over there. So I do gotta fix those couple of leaks, but other than that, super cool truck, runs super strong. Like I really like it. We don't have a lot of plans for this thing this year, mostly because I needed to make me back some money before we reinvested into the truck. A lot of the money that we make from those scrap runs, we're probably gonna reinvest it back into the truck. And the things that I do want to do to this truck eventually are do an OBS front end swap, probably interior swap as well, and then axle swap it. But again, that'll be down the line. For now, we just needed to start making us money. Now, the next truck that we're gonna talk about is my crew cab short bed OBS. So this thing's a 97, 96. And if you watch the last couple of videos on it, it basically has a no good 460 in it. It loses, once it gets up to temperature, it loses all of its oil pressure and it starts making some funny noises that basically tell me that this thing needs a new engine. So now that being said, I have 3 options for this thing. One is to rebuild that engine, which honestly, I really want to do just because I've always wanted to kind of dive deeper into that side of engines and getting to know them. 2, we can pull the engine from that truck and put it in here. Or 3, a guy a few days ago stopped by that watches the channel and he did a Cummins swap on his OBS and offered me the engine from that truck for this thing. And that honestly sounds really tempting because it's a really low mileage engine. So we might do that. If you see this video, send me a text because I never got your number. So anyways, that's kind of the plan to get this thing back on the road. Now, the actual fun stuff that I want to do to this truck is we want to swap the transmission. And what we want to do is do a 10R80. So the new 10 speeds that are behind the F-150s, you know, all that stuff. And we want to do that because we also want to do a 4-wheel drive swap. So go to a more modern transmission, do the 4-wheel drive swap at the same time, And then we obviously are also going to do an axle swap with something like a 2-inch lift, nothing crazy. And the plan for this truck is basically for it to be my daily driver slash kind of overlanding camping rig. Basically, my son is starting to get to that age where, you know, he wants to do fun stuff. He wants to go camping. And I think that this truck would be the ideal truck for stuff like that. Plus, again, I need a daily driver. Currently, that's my daily driver. And although I honestly love that car, it's not very on brand. And I really want a daily drive in OBS. So I really want to work on this truck. And the plan for 2026 is to get this thing on the road with those upgrades. Now, this bad girl right here, this thing is my second favorite truck, and it is very close to the single cab. And this thing, we have huge plans for it in 2026, hopefully starting really soon. It is already axle swapped, so we have a set of F450 axles. The rear is out of a 2010 pickup truck F450. The front is a 2020 two-wheel drive F450 axle. And so this thing's also 460 powered, and we're gonna swap that out for a diesel engine. So which is why I'm saying that we might put this one into this thing. Oh, by the way, before I forget to mention it, so it's a 93 Centurion. Really wanted a dually, and I really have always liked the Centurions. Now this is a lower spec Centurion. This is the Austin edition, so it didn't come with a lot of the crazy features that the higher end Centurions did, but it still had the cool paint job, the visor, and then it had that part of the, is it a racerback or whatever that part in the rear is called? I still do have it, and we are gonna eventually put it back on. The ultimate goal for this thing, again, is for it to be our tow rig. I'm hoping that either in 2026 or 2027, we buy a gooseneck and are able to pull it with this thing. So the two things that we have left to do on this truck is I actually want to do a full air ride on it, do a diesel swap, which let's go back into the shop and show you, because I already have the engine and the transmission that we're going to use on this thing. Just super cool truck. I really like it. It's got a decently clean interior. It's definitely in better shape than that truck. It's just such a cool truck. Really like this thing. We do want to eventually paint it. And yes, we are going to keep this same color scheme and everything. We're just going to use more modern colors. So something with more of a, you know, flake, metallic, you know, deal to it. But definitely keep this same color scheme and everything because I love it. Go back inside so that I can show you the power plant combo that this thing's going to run. Okay, and in that crate is the best diesel engine known to man. This is everything that a 12 valve Cummins wishes it could be. Like, this is the this is the Cummins daddy right here. This thing took me forever to find. So happy that I was able to get this thing here to the shop. And for those of you that don't know, this thing is an International DT360 5.9 straight six mechanical injection diesel. If you haven't heard about these things, I don't blame you. They are not super common. This thing right here is a true medium duty engine, which means that it was used on the medium duty trucks, obviously. From the 80s to 93, I believe, was the last year that this engine was produced. Even though it's a much better engine than a Cummins, unfortunately, a few of the drawbacks were, and well, for my case, the biggest drawback was that there were not a lot of these things produced. And therefore now, 30 some years later, there's not a lot of these for sale. I actually bought this one off of eBay, which is why it's in a crate. Because here in my area, I think it's been like probably like 7-8 years that I've been looking for one of these things. I've only ever found one for sale out of a truck like this. Other than that, I found 2-3 other trucks that had this engine, but I would have had to buy the entire truck. And believe it or not, a week ago, which is like 2 weeks after I bought this thing, one popped up for sale, which I'm actually considering I'm buying that one too. Just because I hate using the word rare, but in my opinion, they are definitely a bit rare. Just because I mean, you can actually buy a brand new Cummins. They're still producing them over in China through a company that's partnered with Cummins. So it's still a Cummins, but you can still buy a brand new 12 valve Cummins. They've made millions of those. These, I think the production one was like around 300,000 or something like that. And I mean, there's not a lot of them left, honestly. So if you do find one of these bad boys, definitely send it over to me. Another one of the drawbacks is that this thing, it is mechanical injection. And if you just look at this pump, you might think that it's a P pump. But that thing's about half the size of a P pump. It doesn't nearly make the power that one does. Now, the cool thing about these is that they're actually very easy to swap to a P pump. They're actually easier to swap to a P pump than a VE Cummins 5.9 is. So that's something that we might actually do to this thing, just to be able to get this thing into like the 350, 400 horsepower range. And another drawback to this engine is that it's physically larger than a 5.9 Cummins. It is also wet sleeved. Again, just very, very strong, robust engine. I think it's gonna be awesome in the dually, and it's gonna make for an amazing tow rig. Now, the transmission that we're gonna put behind it, some of you are gonna love, some of you are gonna hate. That bad boy right there. And what that is a Allison 1000 out of a Duramax 6-speed. I did a lot of thinking, going back and forward. I first thought about doing a CF6, then I thought about doing a Spicer, and then I decided that honestly, I didn't want to do a manual one because I want it to be a truck that if for whatever reason my wife needs to drive or something like that, like on a road trip or something, she's able to drive it. And two, I'm getting older. I'm getting lazy. I don't want to shift as much. So I decided to go automatic. Plus, if I did a CF6, I needed a custom adapter plate, a custom clutch, all that stuff that you can basically only get from one company. And I don't like doing stuff like that. So the Allison, we can actually basically bolt it on to this things because the Allison 2000 was using commercial applications, and that bell housing should bolt on to that DT360, which we already have the bell housing. So it should hopefully be a more straightforward swap. I'm already talking to a guy that makes a standalone controller for the Allison, so it should be a pretty easy swap. Oh, also, by the way, this particular engine's even more rare because of this valve cover. I come to find out, apparently this valve cover, this is a cast aluminum valve cover, wasn't used in a lot of these engines, and it's apparently pretty rare, which I wasn't even looking for it. I found out about that later once I already had it here, so super cool. And maybe we might try and polish this thing. That's basically the update on the fleet and the plans for them in 2026. Now, talking about working on the trucks, one goal for 2026 is to do a lot more builds. And to do that, one thing that I'm considering is actually hiring someone to come and help me with the swaps. That way we can knock them out a lot faster and hopefully do a lot more of them. So if you're interested in us doing your swap, send us, wait, no, don't send this email. Go to our website. I'll put a couple pictures here, but we have a installation quote form on our website that you can fill out, and we'll send you a quote to do your swap. We have a lot of people ship us their trucks here from Texas, California, out east. So we, again, like I said, a big goal for 2026 is to do a lot more builds in-house and also working on our trucks. That's the truck side of things. As far as the actual shop, boy, we bought a laser. This has been something that's been in the works for a while. We're gonna make a full video on it, but it's a 5x10 6,000 watt fiber laser and all the goodies to run it. We got an air compressor, we got a filter, we've got transformers, everything. It was a big investment, but it's something that I think is definitely worth it. So definitely super excited to get this thing up and running because we need it, and I think you guys deserve it to give you the best possible parts that we can. Other than that, I mean, everything else is pretty much the same. Obviously, the plasma table is going to be going bye-bye, getting replaced by this big boy. We been able to take one of our part-time employees to full-time, and he's actually one of our welders now. So this is Jose, the welding those things, but he's actually turned out to be a great welder and a great addition to the family here. We've been able to pick up he's gonna be part-time, full-time, depending on how much work we have. This new employee for now mainly has been helping us with packaging, especially through this heavy season. Man, talking has not been my thing lately. And then he has been helping Adrian with cleaning parts and all that stuff. So, I mean, again, like I said, we are growing, which is amazing. And I mean, honestly, thank you so much, guys. I try and say this as often as I can, but I really do mean it. Thank you so much for all the support throughout these years. 2026 is gonna mark 6 years of Blowing Diesel Designs being a business. And if you guys, I know that a lot of you guys have been with us from the beginning. We started out of my garage. I didn't own any nice tools. I had a little 110 welder. I was outsourcing my cutting. My first little plasma table was a little 2x2, which was basically at the time the cheapest plasma table with the cheapest plasma. The one thing that we invested into right away was our nice welding machine, which is still working like a freaking champ. This Millermatic 255 MIG welding machine, in my opinion, in my welder's opinion, is the best MIG welding machine right now that you can get. That thing is amazing. We actually purchased this thing too, the Rebel ESOP Rebel 205i. I actually really like this machine too. And this thing is a multi-process machine, so it does AC/DC, TIG, MIG, stick. Also an amazing machine that I really like. This is basically my machine that I use so that I don't have to bother the welders. And I can do my own projects. And then when they need backup, I, run a jump in production and help them out with that. But besides that, I mean, we're just gonna keep pushing. 2026, the goals are, as far as you already know what I told you about the trucks, so it's that. And then we also want to bring new lines of products out. We want to fully release the 4-link kits. We also want to add an entirely new line, at least one. So we are either going to do the Super Duty line or a van line. So let me know down in the comments what you want us to do. But yeah, guys, again, just a huge thank you. You truly don't know how much you guys mean to me, to my family, and to our business. We really truly appreciate your support. Because of you, we've been able to make our parts the best on the market, and we're fully committed to keep making them even better in every way that we can, as you can see by this investment, and keep bringing you guys new parts and keep growing this business, because this is something that I want my son one day to take over, and basically what I mean by that is that I'm committed to being here for the long run and keep bringing you the quality, the great parts, the good engineering that we always have. So again, guys, thank you so much. I think this ended up running for way longer than I wanted it to, but we'll see you next year. Again, leave a like, leave any comments that you might have, share the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you for the next one.